Before 17 hours Norwegian Sea, the USS Jason Dunham was maintaining a close surveillance position on the reconnaissance ship Yantar. Suddenly, collision alarms blared, shattering the silence on the bridge. From the starboard side, the Russian destroyer Severomorsk suddenly broke formation, accelerating sharply, executing a hard turn, and cutting across the bow of the American ship at a distance of less than 500 yards. Hard left rudder. The order came in a split second. The American ship heeled over sharply, waves crashing over the bow. In that life-or-death moment, the entire crew on the bridge held their breath, their eyes glued to the massive Russian steel hurtling toward them. They completely forgot about the spy ship Yantar lurking in the distance. But while the entire ship was reeling from the sharp turn in the sonar room, a young technician suddenly pressed his hand to his headset, his face drained of color.
Sir, ignore that ship. I just picked up a transient mechanical noise. Something is diving fast right out of the Yantar's acoustic shadow.
In the cramped sonar room, the air thickened. No one said another word. On the waterfall display, a short, sharp signal appeared and quickly slid down to a greater depth. It was something everyone here had been trained to recognize, but always hoped never to hear. The anti-submarine warfare ASW officer stared at the low-frequency band that was gradually stabilizing. Without asking what it was, he asked only one question range. The sonar supervisor glanced quickly at the numbers on the screen, his voice tense but decisive. Close contact, bearing steady, and most importantly, it's going deep. And going deep at these damn coordinates could only mean one terrible thing. If you didn't know, the place where Russia and the US were standing was the choke point of the Atlantic, the Gi-Uyuk Gap. This is a strategic gateway where the seabed is carved by deep canyons, a perfect hideout for saboteurs wanting to access the West's vital undersea data cables. And the guide was none other than, well, you know who. 3 weeks ago, it was the very same Yantar on the surface that aggressively dazzled a British pilot with a laser beam merely to conceal its own shadowy activities. Now it has returned, deploying something to dive precisely into the most sensitive spot. You don't need to be a genius to predict what is about to unfold. On the bridge, the USS Jason Dunham regained its balance after the sharp turn. The Severomorsk had withdrawn as if it had just completed a performance. But for the Americans, that cut now had a different meaning. It was not a navigational error, but a diversionary tactic. Immediately, the American captain made a cold-blooded decision. No warning sirens, no blaring active sonar. He gave just 2 orders: set condition EMCON Alpha. In an instant, the 9,000-ton destroyer shut down all radar, cut off all radio communications, and even turned off its fathometer's active depth sounders. The USS Jason Dunham suddenly vanished from the electronic spectrum. Imagine this. You are a burglar sneaking into someone else's house. If you are discovered, do you think the homeowner will turn on the lights and yell, "Get out"? No. The house goes pitch black and silent. You don't know if the homeowner has left or is standing right behind you with a baseball bat. That silence is what makes your blood run cold. Beneath the freezing water, the vessel that had just separated from the Russian formation continued to dive deeper. It believed that the daring approach of the Severomorsk had accomplished its mission perfectly, forcing the American ship to focus on collision avoidance, cluttering the tactical picture, and creating a few precious minutes of breathing room. But they forgot that this isn't 1985. Above, the reaction was just as swift. A P-8A Poseidon had silently changed its flight path. But instead of diving straight for the target, it circled wide, maintaining a safe altitude, dropping a pattern of passive sonar buoys into the sea. These buoys didn't emit a ping, didn't cause interference, and didn't broadcast their position. They just listened like scattering dozens of underwater microphones, waiting for someone to make a careless noise. The data began to converge, from the sonar buoys, from the towed array sonar trailing behind the Jason Dunham, and from NATO's seabed sensors. As the layers of information piled up, the result was chilling. It was a Project 636.3 submarine, the improved Kilo, the most dangerous secret weapon in Moscow's non-nuclear arsenal. NATO calls it the Black Hole. This type of submarine does not use noisy nuclear reactors. It runs on batteries and advanced electric motors. When it dives and shuts down its diesels, it disappears completely into the background noise of the ocean, quieter than the waves themselves. It carries Kaliber cruise missiles capable of obliterating a city from 1,500 miles away, Today, it is tasked with diving deep to record the acoustic fingerprints of NATO's entire defense system. But there is one detail that the Russians do not know. The Kilo submarine may be quiet, but it is not invisible. Every time it adjusts its depth, every slight rudder shift, every small change in screw RPM leaves a distinct acoustic signature. To a U.S. crew that has eaten and slept with sonar for years, those traces say more than any radar signal. In the Combat Information Center, CIC, the tactical picture gradually came together. No need to go active, no need to show off. The USS Jason Dunham simply watched silently, recording every second of movement, every foot of depth, every operational habit of the submarine. It wasn't a chase, it was a perfect intelligence gathering session. And what about the Severomorsk? It withdrew from the area, maintaining a safe distance, pretending nothing had happened. On paper, Russia could claim it was just a routine maritime incident. Diplomatically, everything remained clean. But beneath the cold, icy water, the secret was out. Russia's most advanced submarine had been tracked right where Moscow believed it held an absolute advantage. And when a submarine loses its stealth, it is no longer a strategic weapon, it is just a slow-moving target at the bottom of the sea. The question now was no longer what Russia was doing. It was, what would the U.S. Navy do with its newfound advantage right in the choke point of the Atlantic? On the bridge of the USS Jason Dunham, the real battle was just beginning. When you've served long enough in the U.S. Navy, you understand one simple thing: detecting a submarine is only the start. Keeping it in the tactical picture without letting it know is the art. The captain looked at the integrated combat display, then at his watch. The clock started ticking backwards, because with every passing minute, the Kilo was getting deeper into the Giayuk Gap's undersea maze. And at that depth, if you lose the track, you might never regain it. The next order was brief, almost cold. Maintain EMCON. No pressure, no spooking. To put it in layman's terms, when you're fishing for big game, you don't jerk the rod. You let the fish think it's swimming freely while the line remains taut enough to never slip. The USS Jason Dunham slowed to under 10 knots. The towed array was adjusted in depth, not to hear louder, but to hear the right thermal layer. To outsiders, the ocean is just water. To ASW sailors, it is many layers: hot, cold, salty, fresh, and each layer bends sound like a funhouse mirror. Above the P-8A, Poseidon no longer circled. It shifted to a different tactic multi-axis pressure. A new series of sonobuoys was deployed, but several nautical miles away from the Kilo's predicted position. Not to catch it, but to limit its options, like setting up a fence far away to funnel someone onto the path you want. And this is when the Russians start to feel uneasy. The Project 636.3 submarine remains silent, but silence for too long is also a problem. Down there, the Kilo's captain hears no active sonar, no radar, no ping, no sign of being tracked. Only a more terrifying truth: the silence is deafening. For submariners, that's when the mind starts racing. Had the American sub left? Or were they somewhere right above? And then a small decision was made at the bottom of the sea. Very small, almost instinctive. The Kilo adjusted its depth by a few dozen feet, changed course by a few degrees to find a better thermal layer. That was all. But for the American system, that was enough. On the screen, the signal line shifted. Not much, not loud, but clear. The ASW officer said nothing, just nodded slightly. The solution is locked. No need to chase. No need to attack. The Russian submarine had just confirmed itself it was being tracked. At the same time, NATO seabed sensors recorded additional data. Not location, but behavior. How the Kilo reacted when it felt pressured. How it chose its path in complex terrain. These things were more valuable than any satellite image. To put it simply, Russia brought a secret queen to the chessboard. And within hours, the U.S. Navy learned how that queen moves. On the surface, the Yantar drifted silently. It thought it was collecting NATO data, but in reality, just below it was Russia that was being collected from head to toe. And that's when the real question arises, not just for Russia, but for Washington too. Because once you've grasped the rhythm of your opponent's secret weapon, you don't need to fire. You just need to let them know that you know. At the bottom of the cold Giayuk Gap, the Project 636.3 submarine continues to move, but it is no longer truly free. On the tactical map of the USS Jason Dunham, the Kilo's options are dwindling rapidly. Behind it, the water has been marked by a net of American sonobuoys. The inevitable problem has finally begun to surface: the battery limit. As a diesel-electric boat, the Kilo relies on its batteries to run quietly, but the constant maneuvering required to evade its pursuers drains that power much faster. In the Russian control room, the numbers look grim. Everyone understands that to recharge, they must rise to the surface and raise the snorkel mast to draw air the exact moment the US Navy is waiting for. Above, a P-8A Poseidon has switched to an intercept posture. Its AN/APY-10 radar is searching for a thin metal mast less than a few feet tall rising above the waves. As the Kilo begins its ascent and the diesels kick on, it feels like a life-saving decision for the Russian crew. But for the Americans, it is the final mistake. Seconds after the snorkel breaks the surface, the P-8's radar screen lights up. The information is instantly relayed to the USS Jason Dunham, which goes active for the first time. Radars radiate and speed increases to 30 knots as the 9,000-ton destroyer surges toward the submarine struggling to breathe. Down below, the Russian captain hears the high-speed screws of the approaching destroyer. He is left with only two options: dive again and lie still with dwindling oxygen, or surface completely. He chooses to save his crew. Witnesses on the deck of the USS Jason Dunham see an unforgettable sight: the black hole of the ocean, surfacing amidst the gray Norwegian Sea, belching diesel smoke. This weary hulk of steel was brought into the light not by missiles, but by patience. That morning, no shots were fired yet. It was a total victory. The US Navy accomplished their most important mission, recording the acoustic fingerprint of a Russian Kilo. This data is more valuable than any display of firepower, ensuring the submarine will never be completely secret again. This is the difference between showing off strength and controlling the game. In the Atlantic, the most frightening enemy is not the loudest one, but the one who knows how to wait. And before ending the video, one thing must be made clear. The story you just heard is a hypothetical situation based on publicly available events, open sources, and modern naval warfare logic. Some details have been simulated and simplified for illustrative purposes, helping viewers better understand how underwater chess games might play out in reality. If you find silent chess games like this scarier than explosions, leave a comment below. And if you want to continue dissecting confrontations where the most dangerous part lies beneath the surface, don't forget to follow Navy Vector.